So here we are in part two with Creating Balance with Jan and Lori, and Carol Richard is our special guest today, and we're so happy she was able to join us. We have three different time zones we're working with, so sometimes that can be a challenge. So Carol, in the first part, you were talking about your four-step process that you work with. And so could you tell us about that four-step process that helps people figure out their sleep issues and how to get them back on track?
It would be my pleasure. So the more I was working with people, the more I realized there's a lot of common elements, which is the stress, but there's also other things we have to look at in order to get our sleep better and improve it. So when I look at my four-step process, the first thing I do in step one is look at behavioral changes that anybody needs to make. And so we'll talk a little bit about some of those. So one of them is caffeine. So did you know that 7 hours after you have a cup of coffee, you still have 50% of that caffeine in your brain?
Wow.
Wow, right? So imagine drinking a coffee at 4 o'clock. Well, at midnight, you still have that caffeine in your brain and you're wondering why you can't sleep. And the other thing about caffeine.
Wait, I need to interrupt. And that would even go with, how many people eat dark chocolate at the end of the day?
Dark chocolate.
Or a Coca-Cola or something like that.
Yeah.
That's caffeine, yeah.
Yeah. And another thing about caffeine that's really interesting is we have this molecule that accumulates in our brain called adenosine. So adenosine accumulates all day and that causes us to fall. It's not melatonin, it's something else. But when our adenosine is full, it signals our brain that it's time for sleep. And then it clears itself overnight and it starts again. But caffeine and adenosine have the same molecular structure. So coffee gets in there, takes the place of adenosine. So not enough adenosine is building, so your sleep drive is off. So I tell people not to drink caffeine, but cut it out at noon, right? Like we all need our caffeine. I love my caffeine in the morning, but cut it out by noon so your brain has time to clear that caffeine and build the adenosine. Because no amount of tapping will get rid of that caffeine in the brain. But tapping can help you get rid of the addiction of caffeine. That's where the tapping comes in. Other behavioral changes that we look at is alcohol is one of them. And what alcohol does, people think alcohol makes them fall asleep. It actually blocks your REM sleep. And your REM sleep is where you actually have your mental regulation. So, so step one is looking at those things. What is your bedtime routine? And what do you do that is not helping your sleep, and how can you make small changes then to get your body prepared for sleep? So that's first thing we talk about. Exercise, we talk about so much. So that's step one, because without step one, no matter what we do is not going to work.
So can I interrupt you now?
Yeah.
Because for the month of May, I decided not to have any alcohol, and I slept like a baby every night. And then one day I had like a glass of wine and didn't think anything of it. And then I was up at 3 a.m. for the day. Like it was not a wake up and go to the bathroom and go back to sleep. It was, okay, that's it. We're done. We're not going back to sleep again.
Right.
So it's good to hear this. So it's not just. Okay, so.
And once people know that, then they're not as hard on themselves for not sleeping. They go, oh, I didn't sleep because I had that wine. Right. So there's a reason. It's not just like, I don't know, it makes a difference. For me, that made a difference, like you wouldn't believe, when I realized, and now I really like, do I need that glass of wine or do I need that caffeine? Because I know it affects my sleep, and sleep is number one. If anybody knows, like sleep is number one for me. I need my sleep because I function so much better. That's step one. Step two is dealing with the anxiety or fear or stress about going to bed. So people don't even realize how much anxiety there is just about going to bed. We have to clean that up before you can work on anything else, right? So first session usually would be just thinking about going to bed tonight, what's coming up? Well, this dread, I'm not going to sleep again, or this anxiety that if I don't sleep, I'll be too tired for work tomorrow. All of these emotions is where we start. And as we clean that up about the future going to bed, we start looking at our past. Is there some nights in the past where you really had a hard time going to sleep and you need to kind of clean that up so your brain doesn't pull up that in the middle of the night? So we kind of you know, deal with the future, clean up the past, and deal with the present moment of, as I'm going to lay down tonight, am I going to go to sleep? So that's step 2, is looking at that. Step 3, we dig deeper. If you're still not sleeping with that, then we dig deeper. So what area of your life is causing the stress? So on my website, I put that there's 5 areas in our life causing us stress. So you have your health. Do you have health issues you need to look at? And are you stressed because of an upcoming surgery, or what is it about your health or health of a loved one? You know, like, because sometimes it could be our aging parents that is causing the stress. So you look at health, you look at work. For me, it was my job that was stressing me out, keeping me awake. So, you know, tapping through those emotions. And when you start reducing that stress, the clarity comes, and I switched jobs, you know, and my sleep troubles kind of went away, but I did other stuff too. But sometimes it's, you have to change jobs, but in the stress phase, you can't make that decision because you're just functioning day to day trying to get by. So there's health, work, money. Money keeps a lot of people awake. There's family problems, like, or I'm not going to call them problems, but just family events. If you have small kids, or if you have teenagers staying up all night, or whatever it is that is causing you stress within your family. Are you going through a divorce? Are you maybe working on your relationship to try to make it better, but it's causing stress because 2 people are trying to change together? Whatever it is, family. And the last one is spirituality. For me, what that means is it's not a midlife crisis, but kind of. We hit that part in our life where we're looking for our purpose. Like, what is it that I want? And it usually about midlife for most women. And then we don't feel connected to anything or anyone. And we're looking for that. And we're maybe in the middle of career change because of that. So then you have spirituality and work coming together as a stress. So sometimes it's more than one area, but then it's digging deep. That's step 3. Step 4 is looking at our limiting beliefs. So what is your belief about sleep? Well, I won't be able to sleep if I don't have that glass of wine before bed because wine puts me to sleep. So that's a limiting belief. So beliefs are good to have. We need our belief system. But if they're limiting, they're not serving us. So my belief about sleep now is that I am going to have a good night's sleep because I do everything right to have that good night's sleep. So that's my belief. So I sleep well 98% of the time, because there are nights where I have that coffee, or it's too late in the afternoon, or I have a big day the next day and I'm stressed and it keeps me awake. But so looking at our beliefs, some people believe I don't need to sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Sleep's not that important. So finding, oh yeah, that sleep when I'm dead, I hear that so often, like on articles and stuff. I'm like, no, you've got to sleep today so that you can live a full life. So looking at limiting belief is step 4. From that, I know you have talked about my upcoming program that's coming. So I've run this a few times. And so from those 4 steps, I developed a 4-week online workshop where we take each week and we kind of really do a deep dive. So about 20-25 minutes of me talking, and then we do some tapping as a group if anybody wants to tap. And we go through each week. So you have time during the week to kind of work through that. And it's amazing. Last time, someone on the first week, she started sleeping again because she stopped her vodka and tonic, because she was always doing that thinking that that was helping her. But when she heard about alcohol, then so that's the program that I have, and I'm running it again in September.
And I have to say, I was on the first time Carol ran it.
Yeah.
It's amazing, ladies. It's an amazing program, and you will learn so much. And it's just nice also to be in a group of other people, men and women, because you open this up to men also, right?
Yeah, I open it up to both.
Just to know that other people have this issue too. You're not alone.
Not alone.
So yes, I highly recommend that program. And so Carol, how do people reach you?
Well, different ways. I have a website, so www.tappingintosleep.com. From my website, then you can schedule a free consultation if you want, or if you go on my contact page, my email address is there. On Facebook, I have my Facebook page, which is Carol Richard EFT practitioner. So you can search me, and we'll probably put it in the comments here too. And then I also started a group on Facebook. You can find Sleep Again Naturally. just to kind of share tidbits and different article. And so Dr. Michael Bruce, I talked about him. He's phenomenal, good information. So is Dr. Matthew Walker. He's another sleep expert that I follow. So when they put out a good article, I'll share it in the group so people can kind of read what the experts out there are saying about sleep and the benefits of sleep.
Yes,
That's
and
excellent.
yes, we will post all of this information in the Creating Balance group. Lori, do you have anything to comment on or say?
The only thought that came to my mind was when you were talking about family, different things and older kids. Immediately I thought of, do you have any idea how many times I am woken up by the smell of pancakes at 2 a.m, because I have two 20-year-old daughters, and it's 2 a.m and they're hungry and they're making pancakes, and I just get woken up. And I know it probably has nothing to do with any of this, but that actually is one of the things that wakes me up, is these adult kids in my house who are living completely different schedules, and they're like awake until 2, 3 a.m and they're making noise and cooking. So I just thought of that, and I just thought it was funny, for any of you moms at home who are in the same boat that I'm in, you know what I'm talking about.
And then it's sitting up in the bed
making pancakes at 2 a.m.
It smells wonderful, but it's alarming when you wake up and you hear you can smell something cooking, and you're like, what time is it? So but anyway, so completely irrelevant. Just that was my thought.
Yeah.
So thank you. So.
Yeah. Carol, any parting words?
Just, I wish people would make sleep their priority. If you go on Facebook and you start scrolling, what you see is people complaining about sleep. I didn't sleep enough. I wish I could sleep. You always see the negative of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I want to change that. Like, I really want people to start talking about how good of sleep they got and how because of sleep, their life is getting better. I'm becoming obsessed with sleep in a good way, I think in a good way, because it just truly, sleep is your number one. If you don't have sleep, you have nothing else. And I just wish everybody a good night's sleep and do what it takes for you to get there, to make sure you have your 8 hours a night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard, and we have beliefs that, there's not enough time to sleep and all this, but once you start changing your life and you start putting in habits to go to good sleep, and then you start tapping through everything you need to, and sleep comes back, it's so worth it.
And it makes you a better functioning person in the world. Which translates to all of the things you just talked about. The money, the relationships, everything starts to fall into place when you have had that right amount of sleep. And I feel like there's another topic here to be talking about, which is helping our children learn how to fall asleep. Right? Which that's a whole other video, but
maybe we can talk about that in the future. That's
so important. It's so important, and us setting an example, right?
Us teaching our children that sleep is priority,
and leading by that example.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I'm just so thrilled that you were here with us today, Carol, and we're all so blessed.
I met Carol when she was at the very beginning of her journey with this research she's been doing. And ladies, I cannot say enough on how committed Carol is to researching this whole issue of sleep. And she's got this passion for it, this deep-seated passion to help people with it. And as we know, this past week is our theme has been grounding. If you're not sleeping, you're going to really have a difficult time being grounded to the gravitational pull of the earth. Yeah. I know that for a fact. So just consider getting in touch with Carol. You can always go on her website or Facebook page and sign up for her newsletters, and you can ask her questions.
And she's a member of our group.
And she's a member of our
You can find her there too. So
yes. So you'll be able to find her. Become her friend on Facebook. She's a good friend to have.
I am.
She's a good friend to have. So we're all good friends to have.
We are.
And our new group, our big group is all you'll be shocked at how many friends you're going to create in this group because we all have something in common.
And if you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, invite your friends to the group, and all of Carol's information will be right underneath this video in our description, and we're also going to put it on our Facebook group, so it's very easily accessible for all of you.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody for watching today.
Yes, thank you. And we will see you in our next video.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.